We wanted to talk about the governance and the guardrails and taming the agents. We talked about orchestration being dynamic and that being a benefit because it can do many more things that a developer hasn't even thought of. But every benefit also has an equal and opposite downside. And in this case, the orchestration being dynamic would also mean that there are more risks. So the question, like, and for public sector leaders, uh, they deeply care about transparency and dependability. So, how do you ensure that the AI agents are predictable and safe?
Yeah, I sometimes say, agent governance, you should have some commandments, right? Like you have kind of culture best practices or a rule book for your employees. Like in the same way for your agents, you should have a governance rule book. And to be honest, like it doesn't have to be super complicated. I think I have this list of like 5 commandments I sometimes talk to leaders about, and it's your agent should have an identity and it should have a chain of accountability, right? That's number one. So if it has an identity, I know what it's doing when it's accessing data. I know which agent it is. When it's talking to other agents, I know what its capabilities are. And some of these are getting baked into protocols like A2A, right? So A2A has an agent card which tells other agents and humans what that agent's capabilities are and what its authentication protocol is and so on and so forth. So I think that's like the first layer. Like you need that agent identity and chain of accountability, like who owns that agent. If something goes wrong, which team owns that agent, which organization owns that agent. The number 2 piece is, are we building agents in a standardized way, right? So if I'm giving prompt instructions, if I'm connecting tools, how am I doing that in a way that we can then have CI/CD policies kick in and say, oh, like you gave this agent instructions to go access the customer database and review all records. I think we should review that. That feels like a high risk thing, right? So when you're building agents as leaders, you have to enable a great developer experience for your teams, but you also need to have an automated policy check engine that says, hey, like agents shouldn't be allowed. I think the third one is having a tools registry or a tools marketplace that's centrally governed. And MCP is like a
It's great
amazing.
at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now with remote MCP servers, like you can have a governed tool registry similar to your API catalog, very goals oriented. So you know which tools your agents can connect to and what the authentication mechanism should be.
Perfect.
And then the last 2 are really like run, right? Like day 2 run and operations type of things. Is my agent logging every interaction it has? Is it communicating all the tool calls is it making? Yeah. What data does it have access to? And then the 5th layer is for agents, human in the loop is going to be really hard. So I have 10,000 agents running around. Like I can review all of these logs in the 4th commandment with a human. Like it's not
Yeah.
going to. So
Yeah.
that how can we have governance agents or risk agents that are running continuously in day 2 monitoring and raising flags, raising alerts, right? And that's kind of that 5th pillar that you need. So you kind of stitch that together to say, okay, I'm going to let my organization build agents, but I'm going to have these guardrails of identity, of policy, of continuous monitoring, of tools registries to make sure they're not, escaping a boundary that I don't want them to.
This was GovAI.fm. Connect with us on LinkedIn, suggest a guest, and stay tuned for real stories from AI in action.